He's at the door factory. I don't know.
Welcome to the Fantasy Hackers Podcast, where we have broken the code for daily fantasy sports and let you in on the secrets.
Welcome back, boys.
Hey,
It's been a little while since we.
Speaking of teeth, Nelson was talking about teeth off air to Alan. What can you tell me about RDF score?
RDF score?
Yeah. Do I have the wrong letters? You shouldn't have to Google this as a dentist.
I don't know what this is.
What is the toothpaste rankings?
The toothpaste rankings?
Yeah.
RDF?
RDA. Toothpaste abrasiveness ranking.
Oh, I'm not familiar off the top of my head as far as where things would be ranked. I think.
Which toothpaste do you use? That's what we really want to know.
Whatever free stuff I can get.
Okay.
What are you getting good? Like,
It kind of depends. Sometimes I'll get some good stuff. Like when I go to a convention, I'll get a bunch of free stuff that's pretty good.
And are you the dentist that's not recommending Trident?
You know what? I do recommend I'm one of the four who out of the 5 that recommend it.
Okay.
You know what?
I do think your whole industry is a sham, as I've told you previously.
Oh yeah, of course. Your teeth are looking great, by the way.
Thank you.
You want to tell the listeners what you've done, or do you just want to keep it a secret?
A bit of a procedure.
Yeah.
They get food in them now pretty easily, so.
Do they?
What's the procedure? Are those fake teeth?
Per se, they're not. I don't know. What did I do, Scott? I don't really even understand it.
I actually don't really understand it either. It sounds like they built up his teeth with composite.
Oh, how'd you get into that? What made you do that?
Well, I was looking into veneers, but with veneers, they grind you. I don't know what they like.
Yeah, you got to remove a little bit of the tooth to get the veneer to be able to pop on.
You didn't have bad teeth before?
They were terrible, but these guys right here were really small.
Oh yeah.
No, there was a weird shape. I didn't like the shape. But now I don't know. Now these are big guys. But I've always been telling Scott, isn't there some sort of coating we can put on our teeth just to that is resistant to sugar? And he told me that was just called toothpaste. And that's not what I was thinking of, but I found it. They tell me that this stuff you can't get kept with it.
I'm hesitant to agree with that. As the dentist on the show, I don't want to. I think necessarily support something or have the listeners think that's the case.
I think they probably looked into it a little more than you, to be honest, if they're the ones doing the procedure.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, the teeth look great.
Thanks.
Of the 3 of us, who recently? I know Nilson was. Were you in Vegas, Nils?
I was.
What casino did you find that roulette machine?
That's at the 50 cent minimum to a 9,999 maximum. It's amazing. At the Boulder City Casino.
Yeah.
It's kind of a highway out towards the backside of Henderson. But I was looking for food, and the International Builder Show convention is huge.
IBS.
Everywhere was booked up, so I had to go clear out to the Boulder City Casino to get a steak. It was terrible. They overcooked it. Pissed off about that. But then I found that roulette wheel. Wonderful experience. I finished. I went to 6 casinos. I won in all 6 casinos. Dustin 6 casinos 0. Walked away with $650.
That's why you tune in. That's why you tune into this gambling tip podcast right there.
That's right.
I feel like we could dedicate 2 or 3 episodes to the roulette technique. so we don't have to go into it right now, but I'm assuming that's what you used was the technique.
And I did, and I even tried to teach others. Inevitably, almost all of them failed because they start it, but then they get antsy. They get, they start betting other bets. And I tell them, no, you got to be patient. You got to be consistent. If you're going to do that, you're not going to win.
Yeah,
but
very small margin of error, and if you vary it all from the system, you're screwed.
Yep, exactly. You have to be very patient, very consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
all right.
Let's
talk
get
NBA.
into it. So, speaking of gambling, who here has recently been involved in daily fantasy?
I've dabbled.
Okay, Nils.
I'm here, aren't I?
Well, I guess ever since I lost my free membership to our app, I haven't been too involved, but I did have a good streak for a while there.
Well, the app is getting major overhaul right now. We're always investing into our
I think
listeners.
We're officially going to be live on the App Store within the week.
Yeah, it's the real deal. How are you? Adams is the head here. Are we satisfied with Jaden? Is Jaden doing a good job?
Yeah,
he's no Zane.
Yeah, just getting the code access to some of the code from the old developers is the only thing that slowed him down.
Well, it's a rough time over there. They lost their funding.
Yeah.
I can understand.
USAID is not lifting its weight right now.
No.
To Scott's dismay.
Yes, Scott's not happy.
Not pleased. Before we get into fantasy, and I know we're kind of jumping around a little bit, can we talk a little bit about the Dallas Mavericks, please?
Just the unfortuitous turn of events?
I feel like we did.
Well, we talked about the Luka trade, but Anthony Davis going down, and then the Mavs jack up their prices, and then Kyrie goes down. It's just, they're a mess.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, do you think is there any validity to them trying to get out of Dallas?
I don't know.
You heard that conspiracy where they're trying to get to Vegas?
Why would they want to get out of Dallas, though?
Well, the owner has a bunch of businesses in Vegas, right? He's like a Vegas guy. He
married his wife, like she's like the heiress of a big casino or something.
That'd be major city though to not have an NBA team in. The DFW is huge.
Yeah.
That'd be shocking if the DFW loses an NBA team. That's not
Vegas
the city.
Sounds like a big market, but it's really not that big of a market.
No, it's tiny.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a team that would be better suited to go there than Dallas, for surely. I mean, I can think of a few.
Yeah.
The Kings, for one.
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing.
It made me think of you. You're a season ticket holder for the Jazz. Have they been raising prices on you?
No, in fact, I saw some stuff on Twitter. Some of the upper deck, it looks like they raised slightly. But I think, honestly, my tickets, they lowered a little.
Really?
I want to say it was, I don't want to give out prices, but I think it dropped.
Give us a percentage. Give us a percentage drop. 2% drop. Okay. Every bit helps in this economy.
Yeah.
Price of eggs is high, but NBA tickets are a little less.
Yeah.
If your team sucks, I guess.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and maybe you don't know the answer. How does the price of an NBA ticket compare to the price of the NHL ticket in the stadium?
I don't know. I've never even gotten quoted on the season ticket for the time that they asked me to buy season tickets. They said, "Do you want to put down a deposit?" And I said, "Well, how much are they?" And they said they haven't decided yet. I was like, "Well, then I haven't decided if I'm going to put down a deposit."
We don't know. If you put a deposit down, it's going to be a lot. I I'd have to imagine the NHL is less than NBA, but I'd still guess it's fairly formidable.
I've
heard that those tickets are actually pretty expensive.
I bought a suite, but I didn't. It was like a package deal where I bought a Jazz game and a hockey game. So I don't know what they were charging for what, but the people at the games are drastically different people.
There's not the crowd.
It's
not even close.
It's a wild group at the hockey games.
I don't know if we're recording or not, but I'm just gonna say it. I one night purchased Adam's tickets and went to the game, and the dude that's the rental dude was sitting there.
Oh, and love that guy.
The dude to the right of him showed up, and I heard him over talking, and he's like, he came in the middle of the second quarter, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I don't have time to be here, but I'll be darned if I'm selling these tickets for less than I pay." So he stayed for like 10 minutes of a quarter, and then just left and never came back. Just to take the ticket because he wasn't giving it to anyone else.
Is it the guy that wants to look like Guy Fieri?
Probably, yeah. He's got some tats and stuff. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's like talking to the guy that sits by you, and yeah, I'm not giving these tickets up for cheaper than I pay for them. He's driving all the way there. He's there for like 10 minutes and then leaves.
That
the principal
restaurant guy, the restaurateur.
Yeah, he's a restaurateur in Salt Lake. Somehow makes himself look exactly like Guy Fieri.
But your neighbor right next to you, that's a great guy. We had a nice visit.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I had some really unfortunate news come my way. My brother-in-law was at a hockey game. So the Utah Jazz, they have a like a pump up guy. He like go and get the fans going, throw t-shirts
Michael?
out and stuff. Michael.
Oh,
I hate Michael. I hate Michael. He sucks. Anyway, my brother-in-law knows this, and he was at a hockey game, and he sent me video of Michael rallying the troops at the hockey game. So he's not just a Jazz guy. He's I'm guessing he's like a Smith Entertainment Group guy.
Yeah.
That's
terrible. Go. The T-shirt toss from him is just terrible. He always saves the last T-shirt, and he'll crow hop from like mid-court all the way to the sideline, and just like a huge wind-up, like pulls the ball, terrible form, like he's Tim Tebow, like winds up like he's throwing a baseball from the outfield, just lets it fly, maybe 14 rows at the most. Get it.
The Jazz dancers are throwing it further.
Yeah, they really are.
Who's the guy before him? Something Handy or
Alan Handy.
Yeah. Give me that guy.
Yeah, give me the bleached hair, 50-year-old Alan Handy.
And his fake tan. Give me that guy.
Yeah. This guy, I kid you not, we were playing Cleveland on a Tuesday night in February. The Jazz were in a season where they were like the 7 seed or something like this, and in a Western Conference where it was pretty much like cut and dry who the playoff teams were. This game really had no meaning. It was a Tuesday night in February against Cleveland. We were down by 4 with a minute left, and there's a timeout, and he comes out in the crowd and yells, "Salt Lake City, do you believe in miracles?" Really, it's a little heavy for a Tuesday night in February.
We're already not going to the playoffs. There's no miracle.
Oh, he thinks we're playing Russia in the Olympics.
Yeah, get rid of Michael. Goodness gracious. Ryan, if you're listening, please.
Oh, Ryan's listening. You don't think that Qualtrics money is getting played on DraftKings every night, listening to our thing?
This is our favorite line. If you can hear me, I need to hear you. What? You have a microphone, first of all. Why is this about you? Why do you need to hear us?
Well, let's look ahead. We got looking
7 game slate.
7 games?
Yeah.
Let's look at the slate. We got.
I think so. Oh, no. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think there's 8. 1, 2, 3. Yeah,
7 is what I got.
I think maybe one of them's not on the standard slate. So we got Portland, Boston, Miami, Cleveland, Utah, Washington, Minnesota, Charlotte, Dallas, Milwaukee, Sacramento, Denver, and OKC, Memphis.
Yeah, I don't have Charlotte
Yeah.
on my
Charlotte.
slate.
Can we talk about Minnesota, Charlotte real quick?
Sure.
I don't know if I should be offended or not, but I was listening to DJ and PK in the morning. Nils, do you get those guys down in Central Utah?
We do get them. It's you got to go outside and wind up the old crank, But
yeah. So if
big antenna,
if you would have been doing that, man, I think it was Thursday morning, last Thursday morning, you would have heard Joe Ingles on the air.
Oh man.
Yeah,
it was actually a good Joe Ingles interview.
Yeah, it was a good interview. Joe was hilarious as always. But here's where I don't know if I should be offended or not. Sounds like they are going to be settling in Orlando. Like that's because he was with the Magic, right?
And he keeps saying they were going to move. He said, as soon as I'm done in the NBA, I'm moving to Australia, back to Australia.
Yeah, that's always what I've been heard. It's always what I've heard. But he was saying in the interview that they're going to be in Orlando. His wife's really liking it there, and she plays tennis. She's in tennis clubs. The kids are in school, and I just thought, like, man, if you're going to stay in the States, why don't you come back here?
Yeah.
You spent
nobody comes back here. We got D. Will part-time, but
yeah, I was just disappointed. Yeah. That's all.
We don't even have Colin Stockton.
Kenyon Martin has been at all the games lately.
It's because KJ's been stuffing the stat sheet.
Yeah. Kenyon just sits up there by himself. Nobody next to him. Dark sunglasses, a beanie that's like all the way down.
Where does he sit?
He sits like row maybe 15 in the family section.
Okay.
He's like 4 rows behind Jordan Clarkson's family.
Okay. It's so interesting to me how that we've kept Clarkson this whole time. I thought the last 2 years that he's going to get traded.
I thought Collins would be gone for sure.
I thought Collins would too, but
there's no reason to keep Collins around.
Well, stuck with what we got now. Now we're playing total scrubs. I don't even know their names. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, I missed most of the New Orleans game, and it was a must-lose game for us.
Yeah, it was a very important loss for us.
Yeah, it was a must-lose. But I was watching, and we were winning in the fourth. I don't know, like 3 minutes left in the fourth, something like that. I was like, oh my gosh! And then
both teams trying to lose.
CJ McCollum goes off, and he hit 3 threes in a row and sealed the loss for us. But we were playing guys that I'd never even heard of.
Oh, Josie's waiting on the host. Adams, let him in. Let the guy in.
Let's see where. Oh, there it is.
Hey,
there he is.
Hey, you can at least brush that sawdust off your face before you get out of the factory and onto the podcast.
No. I got nothing to say until I start seeing some what do we call residuals from this thing. I'm going to continue showing up late.
From your soft money loan that you invested.
Yeah. My time, my effort, I'm getting nothing in return out of this. I still don't even know how to log into the site.
Oh.
Hey.
Maybe that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Jose, how many kids do you have now?
5.
You do have 5 now.
5 kids, elders.
How many more?
No.
How old are the twins? The young twins.
3 weeks.
Oh dear.
3 weeks, 6 years, and 2.
Did the Door Factory give you paternity leave?
I hope so. I don't know. Or it's all just a blur. Just a blur. Life's a blur right now. I don't know if you said dwarf factory. Door factory. And I'm trying to process, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what was said, and then I finally realized I think you said door, but the other one would have worked as well. And so I just, I'm here. I'm tired.
For the record, I did say door.
DOOR.
Well, for all our listeners, I am a dwarf as well. I want to implement a new thing on our app as well. I want to do a once a week random bet that you can put money on, and they can be long term as well. The first one I want it to be like you can put money on yes or no. Jason Kidd quits after this season, and we just come up with new ones each week. Throw them out there. Let the bettors bet. Cash in.
I mean, I love the idea, but I still think it'd be worth 5 to 10 minutes just to log onto the site and see what we're doing here.
This podcast has nothing to do with hacking fantasy. Nothing at all.
Well, how many games do we got tomorrow?
7, 8.
We were just getting into that.
Okay. Well, let's go. Sorry to interrupt. Let's keep on rolling.
You've missed a lot of good stuff. You're going to have to go back and watch.
I always do.
Joe, it's good to have you back.
Meanwhile, I'm looking at synonyms that I can use for door.
Yeah, we're going to have to differentiate that going forward.
Like thesaurus for door.
Because you don't want to screw up and sound like door. Joseph, I can't believe you said that. Oh, man.
Well, not a lot of great options, to be honest. That's really an egress.
An egress. A portal egress.
Yeah. Entryway. Not a lot of options. All right, let's talk about the games. Who are we talking about? Charlotte. That's who you wanted to talk about. Joe Ingles was saying something about Charlotte. Or did that have nothing to do with Charlotte?
No, it had nothing to do with Charlotte.
Oh. I thought you said, can we talk about Charlotte? And then you said, I was listening to...
talk about Charlotte. Oh, yeah, because Minnesota. Charlotte and Minnesota.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. That was the connection there.
Yeah, let's talk about that game.
Okay, I'll tell you who's out. Rudy Gobert is out for Minnesota.
What's wrong with Rudy? He's been out for a while.
Well, I don't know, but he's out. And Josh Okogie's out. Nurkic is questionable. And then Gibson's questionable.
Yeah.
We also have Mann is out, Miller's out, and Williams are out, all from Minnesota. So Charlotte, healthy, has a good shot in this game.
Yeah, I don't love this game, to be honest. I mean, yeah. There's not much going on here. Mark Williams has a value of 5.3. Julius Randle, 5.3. Nurkic at the game time decision, 5.0. I mean, if Nurkic is out, then you could maybe look at value. Maybe that bumps up Mark Williams a little bit. Maybe he gets 2 or 3 extra minutes. But, yeah, I mean, I think this game's going to be kind of low scoring. I'd fade this game. LaMelo Ball.
He's overpriced slightly.
Yeah, I agree. He could pop off. I mean, if he's your star, if you think he's going to have a good game. But, I mean, he is so all over the place. It's hard to bet any real money on him. But maybe a tournament play.
Is there I wonder if there's a factor of the balls playing better when Lamar's in the stands or not.
LeVar?
Yeah, LeVar. Like, do you think I would just think, like, if LeVar's in the stands, knowing he's going to beat me after the game if I don't perform, do I perform?
LeVar's missing a foot.
I'm just – yeah, he got a foot gone?
He did get his foot gone.
That's
we talked down here in the country.
Central Utah. In the more rural areas.
I'm just saying I think we should do the equation. If we know, like, LeBron's not going to play in elevation, do the balls play better when LeVar's in attendance? That's all I want to know.
Maybe we need to start tracking it.
Yeah.
Although I do wonder, like, is LeVar still doing the Big Baller brand?
I was actually wondering that.
I think it still exists.
But what's funny is I'm pretty sure Lonzo openly said he's almost positive his issues started because of those shoes.
Yeah. I heard him say once at one point he was changing his shoes 4 or 5 times a game because they were falling apart during the games. But now LaMelo has a pretty good deal going with Puma. Like, a lot of the kids I coach are wearing LaMelos. Or not LaMelos, yeah.
LeVar probably wore his own shoe, and now he doesn't have a foot.
He probably doesn't have a foot because of those shoes.
These are the big ball brand shoes that caused the foot amputation.
Lonzo Ball.
We don't recommend the big ball brand shoes.
Yeah.
So Lonzo Ball once was a pitch man for the brand. He later cut ties with the co-founder. He said that the shoes felt like kickball shoes, which makes me wonder, how familiar is he with kickball shoes?
Right, I didn't know there was such a thing, but
I didn't know there was.
I didn't either.
Apparently, they were similar to kickball shoes.
Yeah, who's ever bought shoes for kickball? So I'll play kickball. Let me get my special shoes.
Let me just lace up my kickball shoes.
The Portland-Boston game looks like a mess. Kristaps Porzingis is a game-time decision. Jaylen Brown's a game-time decision. Jason Tatum's a game-time decision. Drew Holiday's a game-time decision. Jeremy Grant, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard are all game-time decisions.
DeAndre Ayton's out.
There's an outside chance that tomorrow Boston has no players.
They're all injured.
Yeah.
The main slate, we got Miami, Cleveland.
I think it's going to be – I'm going to take a wild guess here that you should put a lot of Washington on your team is what Adams is going to say.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be that Washington-Utah game. They're both going to be trying to lose. But neither team plays any defense. It might be a game. If you can figure out who's going to get minutes in Washington-Utah, there might be so much value. In fact, Oscar Tshiebwe is the best value on the board tomorrow. Yeah, exactly.
Who is that?
He's like a 6'8" center that plays in the G League for Utah, and they bring him up in games where there's a chance they might win.
What does the NBA come to?
He's 3,000. He's the minimum salary.
He's showing value. He shows value based on the.
I'm not even kidding. The dude gets bored against the Pelicans. He had 37 fantasy points in 20 minutes.
The cheapest part is he could go off for 37, or he could play 1 minute.
Yeah.
Where's this guy?
Will Hardy's rotations are so weird.
Yeah, figure out where he's from, Scott. Oscar Tshiebwe.
I think he's from Kentucky.
That sounds right.
College-wise.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tshiebwe is not from Kentucky. Not to be.
It's a big family name in Kentucky.
He's Congo.
The Tshiebwe settled this land.
I'm guessing like the Congo. But
I was right. He played for Kentucky, but he's from Congo.
Oh, I guess right. I wasn't going to suggest that he's not from Kentucky, but since we started out with dwarfs, I figured I could go there.
That figured it'd be safe.
So this is an over-under of 231. Neither team's going to guard anybody. It's just a matter of figuring out the minutes, like I said. Oscar Tshiebwe got 20 minutes against the Pelicans and had 37 points. That's what's that? That's a crazy good points per minute. That's nearly 2. That's like 1.8 points per minute, which is crazy. So
Joe, who would you take in the Utah-Washington game?
Like player, or who do I choose to win?
No, player for the fantasy team. I just like to hear from you.
How do you even say his name? Filipowski?
I like me some Filipowski.
I'll take him tomorrow.
So I was at a game that Oscar Tshiebwe got in because the Jazz thought they might win, so they brought him up, and it was you could tell like all the other players really like him. Like he tries really hard. He's just like a 6'8" center though, so he can't shoot or dribble, but he goes after every loose ball, like every rebound. Like he's fighting for his NBA life, right? Like he is like knowing that like at any day it could all be over if he doesn't work his tail off.
He's got to produce.
The players love him, but someone got like a loose ball, and he was running about midcourt, running the floor on offense, like on a fast break, and someone threw him the ball, and he just like bobbled it and like couldn't catch it and dribble it, and got a turnover. And Will Hardy turns to the Jazz bench, and he says, "Look, I love Oscar with all of my heart, but do not throw him the ball in transition."
That's great.
The poor guy's like in a paradox, right? Like you say, I mean, he's out there fighting for his NBA life. If he has the game of his life and somehow pulls out a victory for the Jazz, Danny Ainge is not going to be happy. You know what I mean? Like it's not a good thing. Like I don't know, the dude can't win.
Yeah, that's true.
One other person we definitely can't not talk about in this game is what about the potential of Marcus Smart, Josie?
No, don't
He's
ever bet anything on him, period, ever. I would take Chris Middleton in this game if he's playing.
He is.
This poor guy's just trying to prove he's still got something left, so I think he'll...
What is Washington doing training for Chris Middleton? Like, did anybody see that coming? Like, I thought they were thinking, and then like, let's bring in a veteran. Like a veteran that's a pretty solid player. Why would you do that?
Who was Washington's number? What did they have? The second pick last year? They had the first or second. Who did they even draft?
Alex Carr, the French kid.
Is he any good this year?
No. I mean, he's his last 6 games were 9 points, 10 points, 22 points, 9 points, 4 points, 11 points, 14 points, averaging like 6 rebounds.
What an unfortunate draft to get the first or second pick this last year.
Yeah, he's playing 30 minutes a night, and he can't get more than 7 boards in a game. He's 7 feet.
Well, I guess that's why they're bringing in Chris Middleton.
Well, it seems like they're trying to lose, but I don't know why you would trade. It seems like they got immediately better. It doesn't fit any timeline. Because they traded the Utah kid, Kuzma.
Mm-hmm.
And Kuzma's terrible. I mean, Kuzma's a pretty good offensive player, but not efficient and terrible on defense. I mean, that seems like a great recipe to have for somebody trying to tank.
He can go back to where he started, the Lakers.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kuzma, he plays tomorrow. You got Dallas in Milwaukee. Dallas at Milwaukee.
Hang on, sorry, we got to come back to Utah because Oscar Tshiebwe is like a 10 in value. Bryce Sensabaugh was over 6. Alex Sarr is over 6. Filipowski's almost 6. Marcus Smart is 5.7.
Oh.
KJ Martin you can get for $4,100, 5.6. Keontae George. They're going to put the ball in Keontae George's hands. I've noticed this. When they need a turnover, when they need somebody to turn the ball over, they immediately get the ball in Keontae's hands. They run something for Keontae when he's bringing the ball down. If it's late in game and it's close, they're getting the ball to Keontae to bring the ball down every time to make sure they lose.
Did they move Keontae to the bench as a punishment or to give the other guys time and just see, and like it's already like Keontae's going to be here going forward. We already know that, so they're just letting the other dudes play at this point. No, they moved him to the bench out of he's going to the bench.
Yeah, the other kid's better.
So are we going to unload?
Who's that guard?
At some point.
Unload what, Joseph? There's nothing to unload. Garbage pile. We got a garbage.
I thought the Jazz liked him though.
They did. I mean, honestly, I think he's good off the ball. I think they've got that figured out. Honestly, I think like Isaiah Collier's the point guard of the future for the Jazz, and if you can,
Markkanen's the star. That's all we got.
Yeah. All right. There's a lot of value in that game if you can gamble on the minutes. Figure out who's going to play. Play everybody.
Where are we going next, Scott? Dallas, Milwaukee?
Yeah, let's go there.
You got Anthony Davis is out, obviously. PJ Washington out. Gafford out. Lively the second is out. Dante Exum, unfortunately, is out. You got Hardy. Jaden Hardy is out. And Martin is questionable. Caleb Martin, questionable.
Billy Martin.
You also have Kyrie Irving out and Pat I don't know how you say that. Connaughton is out. Portis is out and Nance is out. A lot of out. There are a lot of injuries late in the season.
Kai Jones is playing minutes now that they don't have a center in Dallas. So he had 34 minutes the other night, last night, and he's only 5,000. He had, let's see, in those minutes, he had 32 fantasy points. So he's I think he'll hit value.
Would you take Lillard or Antetokounmpo as one of your stars?
I don't know. I'm just worried about a blowout in this one.
Oh yeah, true. And then then
they might not get all their minutes. Yeah, I think you can find value. Maybe Kai Jones, Spencer Dinwiddie, kind of the mid-tier, the guys that are going to have to keep Dallas in the game. Klay Thompson, maybe. That's the only thing that makes me nervous. I'm still trying to figure out who we're taking with a stud in tomorrow's lineup because it's not in any of these games. I think you got potential for a blowout. Minnesota Shroud's going to be too low scoring. There's no studs in the Utah-Washington game. You can't even pay up for anybody. There's nobody expensive in that game. The entire Boston lineup is questionable.
Just go with Jokic.
Yeah, might be Jokic. He's a game time decision too, though, as well, I think. But yeah, I think if Jokic plays, I think maybe you put him in. What about Shea?
Oh, yeah.
You could probably play both of them and fill out with enough value from the Utah game. Or Donovan in Cleveland if you need a little extra salary.
Yeah, I feel like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is always a good bet.
He just had 50 last night, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is that his fourth game of 50 this year?
He's good.
It's crazy. And Memphis is a fast-paced team now. Who doesn't guard. So, yeah, I've convinced myself. I mean, sometimes it makes me nervous when they're coming off a 50-point game that, like, maybe they're tired. Maybe, they can't shoot like that forever. I don't know. But his last game, in 36 minutes, he had 51 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block for 73 fantasy points. It's pretty crazy.
Nils said he's waiting to be let in, Adams.
Oh, he left.
I don't know what happened. Sorry.
Zach Edey is 4,900. Too cheap. So there's some value there you could get in the OKC Memphis game. Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people might end up with the same style lineups tomorrow, so you're going to have to figure out a way to get different. But I think you could enter a cash game, a 50-50 cash game, and be pretty safe going Shea and then Jokic, and then filling it out with Oscar Tshiebwe, Zach Edey. That you can only get 2 cent. Oh, let's see. That's going to be tough. You can't play at 3 centers. So I'd go Jokic, Tshiebwe as my utility, Shea at the shooting guard, and then fill out with guys like Bryce Sensabaugh. Let's see. A lot of centers with value tomorrow. Max Christie, maybe the middle tier Dallas guys. Man, everybody's got a center designation. Kyle Filipowski should have a power forward designation.
Well, if he does, are you saying you can't put him in the power forward if he's designated center?
Yeah.
That's very unfortunate.
Yeah. You could play KJ Martin, though. KJ Martin's 4,100. He's going to get plenty of minutes tomorrow.
So you're saying KJ Martin, Oscar Tshiebwe,
Shea.
Put together a lineup right now.
Shea,
Scott, are you still up money? Are you still up money in your run?
Yeah, of course I'm up money.
Jokic.
I like that answer, Scott.
Yeah, you kidding me?
I'm going to lock in those guys and see what happens. I'm going to lock in Zach Edey, Oscar Tshiebwe.
Josie, I'm sure you're locking your lineup in right now.
It's already locked in.
Did we say Marcus Smart was a good pick?
Yeah.
We did.
Josie didn't. Josie disagrees.
Yeah, we're gonna. I want to circle that game and circle back to it on next week. Marcus Smart, for our listeners, is never a good pick for anything. You're defensive player of the year, you get traded, and your team wins the championship. How can you be a good choice at that point? Let me just say this too. Klay Thompson got what he deserved. That scumbag goes to Dallas in hopes of just glory and championships, and now he's the last one standing. I love it.
He's a shell of his former self.
Yeah.
It's actually tougher than I thought because there's so many of these value guys are centers. Brandon
What
Williams.
Corey Kispert? Tell me about Corey Kispert. Is he going to be a good value?
I don't think so. Well, is he Washington?
Yeah, against the Jazz.
He actually lit up the Jazz once this year. I went early to the game.
Corey Kispert, or do I go for Bryce Sensabaugh? They're similar.
I'd go Sensabaugh over Kispert.
Okay.
I think there might be some value in Dallas. Brandon Williams at point guard. 18 minutes off the bench. He's minimum value. I think they're pulling him up because of Kyrie. And when they pull him up, it looks like they usually play him. His last 3 games that he's been dressed, he's been 12, 25, and 15 minutes.
Who's a good center value?
Oh, Oscar Tshiebwe.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What kind of salary are we working with now, Scott, once you get those guys locked in?
Here's what I got. I got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I got Marcus Smart, Bryce Sensabaugh, Corey Kispert, Oscar Tshiebwe. I've got 3 guys left I can do.
Lock Jokic in.
7,900 average.
Okay, yeah, lock in Jokic.
Even though he's a questionable?
Well, you can check it tomorrow before the game start, but yeah.
I'll do Jokic. Now I can do 57.50 for a guard and a forward.
Okay.
Naz Reid, maybe? 7,800.
I just think that game's going to be so low scoring.
Yeah.
But he is. I did see a report that he is going to turn down his player option. And if Rudy's out, he could be playing with a chip on his shoulder. He could convince me to play him. Spencer Dinwiddie might be the best scorer in Dallas now.
That guy keeps finding himself in unfortunate yet fortunate situations to where things like this happen, and then it just gets him enough light to get another contract for the same thing to happen about 1 or 2 years later again.
That's true.
That's kind of the story of Josie. Soft money, keep it in the business.
I don't like to what's the saying? Take the eggs before they hatch, or crack an egg before it hatches. Long story short, I'm in this for the long haul, but I do need to start seeing some returns if I'm going to be sticking around.
For the very point of what he's saying, eggs are expensive.
Very much so. Tell that to your cousin. Get this thing wrapped up.
Chris Middleton. They got to be running. I mean, I think he's starting to figure out his role in this offense. He's playing over 20 minutes a night. Last 2 games, he's had 16, 17. He's had 30 and 34 fantasy points. Going against the Jazz, he may have 40. If you can fit Chris Middleton in, then what do you have left? 4,000 something?
Here's what I did. I did Aaron Wiggins. I added Aaron Wiggins. And then I added
Have we covered the Cleveland-Miami game at all, or is there no one in there you want?
Oh, I did.
We briefly mentioned Donovan, but
I think I did Max Strus. No, I did. Here's my lineup. Jokic, Aaron Wiggins, Keontae George, Oscar Tshiebwe, Corey Kispert, Bryce Sensabaugh, Marcus Smart, and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
do this. Take out.
Yo, Steve, go ahead and give us a mute with your keyboard typing there, please.
I'm taking notes, elders.
What does Kispert's cost?
4,200.
And then who was the first guy you said?
So I got Shea, Marcus Smart,
Strus.
Bryce Sensabaugh, Corey Kispert, Tshiebwe, Keontae George, Aaron Wiggins, and Jokic.
How much was Aaron Wiggins?
5,100.
Is Aaron related to Andrew at all?
Yeah, they're brothers.
They are brothers?
Are they really?
Yeah. I thought so. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I just assumed. If you take out Wiggins and Kispert, can you get in Middleton and Brandon Williams?
Let's see.
While we're doing that, let me ask a non-stat question here. Is the Donovan Mitchell trade starting to look like a very good trade for Cleveland or what? Like they're one in the East. I mean, they're looking good.
It was always a good trade. They gave us, 12 first-round picks. They're going to be 25 and higher for the next 20 years.
Next 20
They're
years.
going to win a championship.
I think they're going to win a championship. Well, if they don't win a championship this year, I think it's a bad trade. If they do, it's a good trade. I think that's it because I think Donovan's gone, right?
Didn't he just sign an extension, though?
Oh, that's right. He did. I forgot about that.
But that doesn't really mean anything. He signed an extension with us and left after.
Remember? Yeah, that was the idea. That was the thinking is he signed the extension so he could get the Supermax. And now he can be traded and retain that salary. It's kind of
he's gonna force his way out. That's what you think?
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite thing that happened to Luka. They traded him before he could sign the Supermax, and now he can't sign the
Supermax. What if they win the championship? Does Donovan stay?
Maybe.
I mean, at that point, do you prioritize winning and money? Or does he say, like, I've already won now, and now I want to go somewhere like where I actually want to be because I still get the money and I've already won?
Yeah, I don't know. But I think we got a pretty good lineup here.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm kind of excited about our lineup.
Let's hear it. Give us the rundown.
I think in my lineup, I'm going to go Brandon Williams at point guard. I'm going to go Shea at my another guard. I'm going to go Jokic at center. Oscar Tshiebwe at my utility. I'm going to go Brandon Williams at my other utility guard. And then I'm going to get Chris Middleton in there. And maybe Bryce Sensabaugh. And I think that's going to win me some money.
Did the fantasy hacker help you get to this point?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
All right, boys. Anything we missed or any updates from the wooden entryway on 3 Hinges Factory? Joes?
No. I got nothing.
Production. Work on any home projects lately?
Well, it's been a slow week for the door making. So hoping some more business comes in that way.
Yeah.
It's the wintertime. It's
are the tariffs going to affect the door business?
No, you think I make my own materials. I don't just make my own doors.
Oh, you're a tree farmer too.
Please.
Yeah, I'm not. They're not taxing me. I go right into my backyard for my wood.
Thanks, that lumber.
Yeah.
That's either a very big backyard or not very many doors.
Maybe both. Maybe both.
What about the glass? You manufacturing the glass? Oh, no glass.
No, I don't do glass. The glass I have someone come in to install. I don't do glass. I don't mess with glass. Glass can be tricky. Look at Neil still going with that plastic glass right there. There's not even real glass.
That's real glass, my friends. Real glass.
I can tell real glass when I see it. That's not real glass.
It's a trained eye right there.
It's hand blown.
All right, boys. Let's all take out second mortgages and hope Oscar Tshiebwe leads us to the promised land tomorrow.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, I'm really hoping this takes off. Got a lot riding on this thing, man.
The doors aren't working. Gotta get this.
Oh, well, until next Tuesday. Why don't we ever recap what we did tonight? Like, we just jump into the next week. We don't give our listeners, unless I missed that whole segment. Do we ever go back and say, like, hey, here's what we did last week and here's what happened?
We're going to do that this time. This
Yes.
is going to start happening.
We had kind of Scott was doing it for a minute. We had kind of like 3 guys that were our stone cold locks.
Okay.
And we followed up on that. We were what, 5 out of 6 on those?
Yeah,
Pretty good.
5 out of 6.
Okay. Okay.
We got a whole lineup this time. This is extra value that we've brought to the table today.
I like it.
We'll follow up with it.
Great.
Okay.
Until then.
Thanks for listening to the Fantasy Hackers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to Fantasy Hackers on YouTube and follow us on X for real-time fantasy basketball updates.